What is up, everyone, and welcome to the first video of the Flex Philosophy mini training course. And I'm just so excited to bring you this. It's been a long time coming, honestly. A lot of research and a lot of my own experiences are poured into this. And creating this company, these were the four biggest things that allowed me to see like growth in my life, but also what I see in the best of the best, and you see a lot of them behind me. And it's something that I knew I had to get out into the world, and I almost charged this was going to be my first $97 course. And I wanted to make this available for everyone because everyone should know these four traits, what they are, and how to tactically improve upon all four of them. But first, before I dive into focus, I wanted to tell you a little bit about what PrePerformance specifically really is. And our mission is to make a dent in the mental health crisis in this world through coaching and education, teaching best practices in performance. Now, right now, that's a lot of mental conditioning and mindset work, but it's going to expand onto exercise, sleep, nutrition, recovery, anything that impacts performance. I want us to be the one-stop shop that you come to for your coaching and education. We are an elite performance coaching company delivering clarity and control by design. That is our tagline. What do I mean by clarity? I want you to know exactly who you are, where you want to go, where you want to go, not anyone else. The habits, the skills, the prerequisites necessary for you to get there, and how to perform consistently so that you can, yes, patience is a big thing, but peak performance and executing daily is really what's going to get you there quicker than everyone else. And those are the four biggest things that I tactically teach. And this is a teaser for my special offer for you at the end of this video training series, because we get hyper clear on all four of those things in my first paid course. But I want to give you guys an extreme amount of value on the four values that I believe every elite performer must have. Before I move on, control. Any tool that I give you, you're going to see the PrePerformance Routine PDF at the end of this. Any tool I give you, I want you to feel like you have control in your life. And that's really going down to either time management, which I'm going to explain what that really is, to your habits and your awareness of yourself. Any tool I give you, I want you to feel like you have more control over your life. Now, when I was first building this company, as you know, you play around with names and acronyms, and I'm a nerd for all that stuff. So it actually came to me very quickly because I was sort of intuitively thinking, what are the four traits of not only what I've seen in evidence-based research, but from the elite performers behind me and everyone I've studied. Like, what are the four biggest characteristics? And that was born of the Flex philosophy. So we talk about focus, learn, enthusiasm, and I know execution doesn't start with an X, but roll with me here. And I believe those four traits, focus to me is quality, learn is quantity, enthusiasm is love, and execution is action. So with quality, quantity, love, and action, I believe you can get anywhere you want to. You just have to cultivate these four values in your life. I'm going to teach you exactly how to do that. So, moving on, what is focus? William James, a famous psychologist, put it, I think, best evidence-based wise. It is the sudden taking possession of the mind in clear and vivid form of one of what seems several simultaneously possible objects or trains of thought. What does he mean by that? It is being able to focus on a pinpoint amidst all of these simultaneous possible objects and trains of thought with clear and vivid form. Now, I am actually being coached by Tim Grover right now in a group coaching, and our first week, ironically, was all about focus. And I said, okay, I would be doing a disservice to anyone I'm coaching if I didn't include this part of it. So I've gone through I've watched the video for 3 weeks and have implemented some of the lessons into this first one. Tim Grover says, focus tells you the story of time. Time, subsequently, will tell you the story of focus. And time management creates a person other people want you to be. If you're coming to me, you're going to be the person that you want to be and not anyone else. And I'm going to show you how to do that. If you do end up working with me in some capacity, paid, understand that time is focus. And when I talk about clarity and control, time design is focus design, but it's masked in a lot of control and clarity of what you're going to be doing. So since we discussed what focus is, I want to discuss what the problems with focus are, because I've learned from a guy behind me, Charlie Munger, who is Warren Buffett's best friend. It's sort of a risk aversion strategy. It's really understanding, okay, I could do all of these things, but what do I need to avoid? You need to avoid, I believe, these 4 things. Distractions. It's that phone in your hand right now as you're trying to listen to me. I'm just kidding. But if you do, that is a potential distraction. Your environment can be a distraction, as my alarm goes off right now. But it's a good thing that this happened, because I want to explain this. This says, King, you are relentless, impenetrable, and grateful. This allows me to focus in on who I'm trying to become. And that's a little bonus lesson I had not intended to do. But back to this. Instant gratification, and unfortunately we are in a society where that is rampant, and it is very hard to stay focused on a single action item, and this course is very metally something of that. This has unfortunately taken months for me to put out and do it with quality, but I believe it was necessary to go through all that. It was revealed recently that our attention spans are less than goldfish now, and that does make me sad. A goldfish has the attention span of 6 seconds, and now we have the attention span of 5. Why is that? Social media has a lot to do with that. We're now accustomed to getting things either in a day or two, and when we're talking about convenience, that's a very good thing. But when we talk about focus and we actually want to become one of the best in the world, instant gratification is kryptonite. Bad habits. And this can go into a lot of the distraction portion, or it can just be things that you do in your daily life that are not serving who it is you want to become, and subsequently that is affecting your focus. And this is going to be a little controversial, but too many interests. I am someone who has way too many interests, I think. But I was able to now get a little clearer on where I'm going as a company and as a brand. And I've now infused a lot of my interest with that. But not everyone can do that. So if you have a lot of interest, understand that there are seasons of life that you're going to need to sort of crack down on what it is you need to focus on in the moment. And only you are really going to be able to know what that is. But understand, if you have a lot of floating things out there and you're sort of just mediocre at a lot of them, you're never going to be an elite performer, and that's why you're here, is to be one of the best. So I want to explain sort of what focus is from kind of a neuroscience standpoint. I'm not going to get too nerdy, but it's time to get slightly nerdy. When I talk about top-down wiring, this is the progression from selective attention to willpower to discipline. Discipline is, I think, an overused term now. But it's when you're starting something new, whether it is a habit or you're trying to get something done for work, it's going to be this progression of, first you need to selectively add attention to it, because it's something new And your brain now has to make neural pathways to say, okay, this is what we're doing. It's going to suck at the beginning because I'm going to suck because I have no competence in it. But I want to build this willpower to keep going, even though it kind of sucks, and I suck at it. But the more you start to do it, the less you're going to suck at it, the more you're going to become competent at it, and the more confidence you're going to have with it. And it's kind of that competence-confidence loop. And with this, it allows you to build willpower with it. When you don't want to do it, your brain is going to basically say, okay, who do you want to be? It's going to take this. And then discipline, honestly, is now translating that first sucky part. Now you're at a point where you're competent enough to put it in what's called bottom-up wiring. And this is your habits and instincts and the basal ganglia. The basal ganglia is responsible for memory, learning, habits. It's very important. So the more you do something, like I go back to selective attention, the more willpower and the more discipline you're going to be able to have. And the object of performance is to put as much as possible in the bottom-up wiring to create good habits and work off of your instincts. And this is where flow state comes in. Focus is a door to flow state. But if you're not focused, you're not going to be able to get into flow state. I'll explain what flow state is here in a second if you don't know. But my job as a performance coach is to get you in flow state as much as possible. So that along with bottom-up wiring comes self-awareness. When I say it's a key to happiness, that's kind of a tagline. But it's the me versus I. When you're talking about me, it's a lot of, well, what's wrong with me? Why did I do that in the past? Whereas when you're talking about I, as a human being, it disassociates any of these, critical negative aspects of your life, honestly. And I start all of my clients off with a hyper clarity self-awareness exercise. And I'm preluding to what is available for you on the back end of this free mini course. But really being self-aware is to look at your life from an observation tower and not judge yourself. And honestly, that's a lot of where distractions and comparison and not feeling like you're good enough, all those things can be aided and looking at your life from an observation tower instead of being in your emotions so much. And that is what focus and going from top down to bottom up wiring within your brain allows you to do. So I want to give you guys some action steps for focus. I would say optimal daily practice time. And we all have sort of peak hours in the day where we perform best. It's all different and has a lot to do with circadian rhythms and kind of what sleep animal you are. I get into that more in the RapFlex Elite, my membership site that's coming out here in February. But it's really understanding when is the best time for you to perform and then do that daily. I'm not saying you have to work every day, but take advantage of when you are biologically able to perform your best. And eliminate distractions is another tactical step, both internal and external. Externally, you're going to put your phone in airplane mode like I have, minus the clock alarm. And internally, you're going to have to start telling yourself a different story when you go to perform. You're going to have to change that self-talk to go from, I can't do this, there's too much pressure. You're going to have to change that to, I can do this, and this is my calling, and I'm meant to do great things. I'm going to teach you with the PrePerformance Routine how to build that in. Start installing some more positive emotions, especially gratitude. There's a lot of gratitude research out there now that we understand that when we are in a place of gratitude, even though sometimes we don't feel like we have a whole lot to be grateful for, there's always something we can be grateful for. And within getting yourself in more gratitude, you're going to be able to perform better. Your self-talk's going to be better. And honestly, physiologically, there are a lot of positive benefits as well. And last is pre-performance routines. This is what changed the game for me for everything I've got going on. I know I have the 5 or 10 minutes to really hone in and do what is necessary. I'm going to explain what pre-performance routine is, and I want you guys to create your own. So for me, as you can see the PDF here on the right, for me, this is slightly more ritualistic than I would have you do. I'm a little more advanced when it comes to sort of routine and habit formation, and I've studied what's called the alter ego, and I will link that book to you as well. And I have my one-on-one clients do the alter ego as well. But first, I want you to start, if you don't have a pregame or pre-performance routine, is to create one. And first off, I like to ingest the heart-shaped herb. You're going to see a lot of Black Panther references. Understand that I am a huge Marvel nerd. So, my heart-shaped herb is coffee, and specifically bulletproof coffee. If you don't know what bulletproof coffee is, it has brain octane oil and grass-fed butter in it, and it makes me feel like I'm on fire. I have a constant, consistent amount of energy that I'm able to work with, and I'm mentally the sharpest that I've ever been. Next, I meditate and breathe. I know there's a lot of the word meditation might make you cringe. It's a high performance tool. It's being able to focus in and center in on what's important. And unfortunately, it's been not put in the best light as far as an actual high performance tool. It's been in the sort of meta world, unfortunately, but it just all comes back to, what do I need to do now? And that is what focus is. So in the next, I review my plan for the day. I visualize everything going perfectly. I close my eyes. I walk through either the 6 to 8 hours of what that's going to look like for me and visualizing it going perfectly. There's a ton of visualization research out there that gives great benefits to this. I play 2 songs. I play Wakanda and The Man, and that gets me in a confident mode I just listened to this before I recorded, and it fills me full of confidence, and I can do this. And then I put on the necklace and the Black Panther X. This necklace for me is the totem to what I'm giving to the world. I have the Black Panther sort of three teeth, and then I have my BGSU Dance Marathon, which for me was my first nonprofit I worked with, and it's just so close to my heart that one of the first nonprofits I want to contribute to is pediatric cancer. So there's a reason it hits me right in the middle, and it's where my heart is, and it's why I do the things I do, and sometimes that's the only thing that keeps me pushing. Now, understand that this is a little more advanced. This is the alter ego. First off, if you don't have a pre-performance routine, I would love you to create one. Kind of have 6 to 8 steps that really get you in this mode. And my analogy is, if you've ever played either Splinter Cell or Fallout or Skyrim, anything like that, if you ever picked a lock, they have these little teeth, and then you go around, and then you single-handedly, bump one, then it moves on to the next, and then you eventually will unlock the door. And that's basically what this pre-performance routine is. Now, if I go through each one of these, that's just another notch that I'm going through, and then to open the door to what I consider my peak performance, I want to do each of those by themselves, and it gets me in that ready state. So guys, you have access to the private Facebook group. If you have any questions about this, I would love to answer any for you. Your call to action right now is to download that pre-performance routine, write out with a sheet of paper, print that out with a pen, fill that out, and start to begin to hone in on your pre-performance routine. That's going to allow you to have more control over when you need to perform, and it's just going to give you a lot more confidence, which is going to lead to a lot more competence, and it's going to build that. I'm so excited to dive into learning, learning is one of my favorite things to do. That's going to be in the next video. Until next time, guys, have a great day, and thank you for joining me.